Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us here at Signals. We're making history at Asset Classes. It's our first inaugural Signals event. It's our community event for users of the Asset Class platform, for our clients. We'd like to welcome you to this event. We'd like to also welcome our partners. We'll be spending some time meeting a number of those partners today and sharing the work that we're doing with them. Also like to welcome our classmates, fellow colleagues from Europe and from across the US who've come along to the event as well. It's an opportunity for us to share with you this morning our vision and our mission. And we're asking you to join us on this mission. Our mission is to be the #1 provider and company providing solutions to the venture capital and private equity space, powering private capital. We're going to share with you our vision for that over the next 5 years. We're going to share some of the work that we've been doing over the last 9 to 12 months in terms of new product announcements. And so Matt is going to be joining me on stage here a little bit later this morning to share with you what we've been doing in that space. Very excited to be able to share that with you. There's been a tremendous amount of feedback from our clients over that period, and hopefully you'll see that feedback reflected in the product today. So let's just go through the agenda very quickly. So to begin with, I'm just going to share with you some of the key themes that we'll be focused on today. Immediately after that, I'm going to invite some of our power panelists to join me on stage, and we're just going to set the scene, take a look at the private capital landscape as it exists today, what we call our state of the nation. I think it's going to be a good level set for us. There's obviously a lot of challenges in the space, but there's tremendous opportunity. We're seeing it. We see a large number of our clients about to launch funds, taking advantage of the down market. I think generally speaking, the sentiment is that 23 and 24 will be great vintages for the private equity space. So we'll share with you a little bit later with some of our clients some of the activity that they're undertaking and some of those new funds. There's obviously distressed funds that are coming to market. There's a tremendous amount of interest in the credit funds that are out there. And so we'll see some of those themes emerge over the course of today. So whilst it's been a challenging 18 months, almost 2 years, for the sector, we're certainly seeing the shoots of recovery. We have some recent IPOs, some exits, which clearly is a good harbinger of things to come. And we'll be talking about how you as a firm can set yourself up for success for the next stage of growth. So that's the power panel, just scene setting. We'll have a break for coffee. The coffee breaks and indeed lunch are opportunities for you to meet members of the team, also meet with some of our partners. On the left-hand side, as we move out of the forum here, you'll see companies like Plaid. We're going to talk about the partnership that we have with Plaid around money movement and how that is not only making the flow of capital easier, but is helping make that money movement more secure. We'll talk about that partnership. We have companies like Grassi. We're very grateful to John and Stu who are here today. Tremendous partner of ours. We have collectively half a dozen or so of your clients working with us, Grassi, who are a fund administrator. At the other end of the scale, we have JTC, one of the global leaders in fund administration. So Michael and Brenna, who are here today, encourage you to go and talk to them as well. JTC, a global provider with operations in Luxembourg, Guernsey, Jersey, right across the US. We're delighted to have that partnership and delighted to have them here with us today. So encourage you to not just meet with our partners, but anything that we talk about today, you'll be able to see demonstrations of. So immediately outside, John and Peter will be available to give you demonstrations. So encourage you to take advantage of that during the breaks. We're then, as I say, going to invite Matt Nelson. Matt, who is a senior business analyst with us, is really leading the product charge, taking feedback and acting as the conduit between our clients and our product development team, getting feedback from the clients, from those at the coalface in terms of what's useful to include in the product. And you're going to see that brought to life today in the session from Matt. And equally, if you'd like to see it in person, as I say, we have some demo booths outside. I think that's going to be a tremendously exciting piece of the day, and we're excited to share that with you. We'll break for lunch, and then immediately after lunch, I'm going to share with you our 5-year vision for what we believe will be a transformative initiative for the private capital space. We have big ambitions. We have a mission that I've shared with you. We're going to bring that to life with a number of key initiatives and 2 very important announcements. We then have our second power panel, and that's going to dive more deeply into the digitization of private capital, what's happening within firms today, how firms and progressive firms are responding to that need to be digital first in today's world. I'm going to talk this morning about the transfer of wealth that's happening from the baby boomers and the silent generation to the millennials and Gen Xers, and how that transfer of wealth, the biggest in the history of the US over the next 10 to 20 years, how that's going to impact the private capital space. We'll have a further break this afternoon, and then a special guest speaker, Gene Ludwig, who's the CEO of Ludwig Advisors. He's the former comptroller of the currency, and Gene is going to be drawing some parallels between what he inherited when he took the position under the Clinton administration as comptroller of the currency in the early 90s. Immediately after the recession of the early 90s, there was that credit crunch. Banks were failing. Credit was being tightened. And Gene was instrumental in working with the banks to loosen the grip on credit and give credit to those companies who needed it at that time. I had the opportunity to speak with him last week, and just some incredibly insightful messages I'm sure will come from that session, drawing parallels between what happened at that time and the situation that we find ourselves in now post-SVB. We have a similar situation. Credit is tightened. Banks are de-risking their books, et cetera. So I think that's going to be an incredibly insightful session with Gene. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And then Mark, who is our head of engineering, is going to share our product roadmap. What are we working on over the next 18 months that we'll be bringing to market? And for our clients, and indeed prospective clients in the room, you'll have an opportunity to see where we're going over the next 12 to 18 months. And then we'll invite you to join us for a wine reception opportunity to network at the back end of today. Okay, so just to set the scene for today, we'll be sharing our vision, as I say, for private capital. And I want to leave you, or rather start the day with what I hope you'll take away as 3 key themes. The first is the concept of next generation investing. We're going to talk about that massive wealth movement that is happening between that intergenerational wealth movement that's happening. We're going to talk about what that means for next generation investors, what the demands are of firms looking to respond to that movement, and the infrastructure that you need to put in place to be ready for that. We're going to talk about a phrase that we've coined internally, the concept of neo-firms. So we're all familiar with neo-banks. So neo, coming from the Latin word meaning new. New banks emerged in response to the open banking initiative, really turning themselves inside out, providing APIs to expose themselves to the outside world, giving themselves an opportunity to address new markets, giving their clients and customers the opportunity to avail of new services. And we think that we're entering a phase of open investment and open investing. We're going to talk about that theme a little bit more. But in order to respond to that opportunity, you need to think of yourselves as neo-firms. How do you, in effect, reinvent yourself for this new world? How do you respond to the opportunities that the market is presenting you with? And how do you adapt to that new reality? And then finally, we'll talk about networks. So we've developed a strategy over the next 5 years, which is a network-centric strategy. I'm going to be sharing a tremendous amount of detail around that with you. And hopefully you'll come with us on that journey. We'll be making some invitations to those existing clients who are part of the asset class family to come and join the asset class network. And we'll share a little bit more about what that means later today. But they're the key themes for today. We'll touch on it in each of the sessions. and hopefully you'll, they will be the key takeaways that you'll have from today.